Just like me in my high school dance, Bitcoin has gotten rejected 3 days in a row at the 50-day moving average. And currently it's absolutely plummeting by almost 2%. But is this just the beginning of some short-term explosive dumpiness? And is this altcoin currently flipping 3-month resistance into mega support? And Guggenheim strikes again. What are they saying this time? I don't know about you, but I'm ready to bust. Back everyone, I'm your host Sheldon Shellfish, and is that a Stromboli in your pocket, or are you just excited for this webisode? Holy cannoli, Bitcoin is literally right now blasting sideways, and it could not be more exciting. Guys, we've taken a look at Bitcoin's price because are we on the verge of something absolutely big? And as well, for months and months, we've been talking about this pattern that's been forming with Bitcoin's price and a very, very important indicator. And let's just say what it might mean, okay, very, very soon, because this is something that's been building for exactly about 3 months, a little over 3 months now, since the middle of January. And wow, let's just say what comes next is going to shock the world and diddle us like we've never been diddled before. So guys, if you're new to the channel, make sure to hit that like, subscribe, turn on those ghost notifications so you never miss these absolutely time-sensitive, massive updates. And as well, guys, 8 days left. Tomorrow will be, wow, the month of April just absolutely flew by. So yeah, we're giving away 5 ETH, guys. Make sure to leave your entries below. And without any further ado, let's dive in. Whoa, Guggenheim strikes again. Scott Menard's Guggenheim warns Bitcoin could plunge 50% near term. Things are very frothy, he says. Very frothy. I wonder what that could mean, Scott. So we're going to be jumping in here. Bitcoin is very frothy and could see a major correction in the near term. Guggenheim, Scott Menard says on CNBC just today. He's saying again, and again, this is something he actually called for, I think, last month. I think he called for like $20,000 or $30,000 last month. But here he is calling for a 50% decline, $20,000 to $30,000 per Bitcoin is what he is predicting. However, we can't leave the rest of the story out. He does also remain bullish in the long term, and he thinks eventually Bitcoin will rise to over $500,000 per Bitcoin. So again, let's be realistic. It does look as though Bitcoin is on the verge of a dumpiness, right? And again, as things look right now, I'm still sticking to what I've been saying for the past few days here, is that I could foresee Bitcoin dropping for the next 2 to 3 weeks, or at least being kind of boring and sideways and not setting new all-time highs for the next 2 to 3 weeks. And, might not pick up more momentum until the middle of May. A lot of things happened during April. Okay, we got new Bitcoin all-time highs. We got a lot of new altcoin all-time highs. We saw the top 10 cryptocurrencies change a lot, right? Everything got shifted around a lot. That was this month in April. And we have to remember what happened to the 3 months prior to April. January, February, and March were 3 of the most explosive months in cryptocurrency that we've ever seen. So April was pretty wild, but January, February, and March were even more wild. So we cannot expect wild months every single month. And as everyone knows, if we do want that 6-digit Bitcoin, and if we want those altcoins to absolutely really pack our piggy banks full of gainers, then we might need this train to slow down for a little bit. And guys, let's be realistic. It kind of does look like that is the case here. So the one thing I just kind of want to reiterate before we go into the charts here is that Bill Miller, okay, we talked about this yesterday, has owned Bitcoin for years. I think he first bought in around like $350 per Bitcoin, but he said he's not concerned about Bitcoin being in a bubble like 2017. He's saying that he doesn't think that's going to happen. Bitcoin did drop like 80% after it reached 20,000, and it was a pretty long 2.5 years from the beginning of 2018 into realistically kind of like the beginning of 2020, even towards the middle of 2020. So with that being said, on the daily chart, I think this tells us everything we need to know. Bitcoin, as we just talked about, January, February, and March were insane. Let's go to the beginning of January. Look at this. Already in a very bullish uptrend. Okay, it actually started back in technically like October is when it really got bullish. October, November, December, absolutely insane. And then we have January, February, and March, also extremely insane. But the thing that's happened now is that Bitcoin has had so many opportunities to really get extremely bullish here. Okay, massive pump here. This was kind of like the peak of mega bullishness. Then we had a little bit of a drop, but then this new all-time high was not very impressive. It was only a new all-time high by a couple $1,000 and drop. And same thing here, another new all-time high by just a couple $1,000. So in my opinion, for the short term, the momentum does look like it's probably going to be swinging a little bit. I think we're going to see more downside over the next few weeks. Doesn't mean like literally in 2 hours. I'm just saying over the next few weeks, this looks more like a short-term potential top. And as well, one of the big things about this, besides the fact we have this like 3-month bearish divergence, is that the Bitcoin is failing to get above the 50-day moving average now for 3 days in a row. And guys, this is huge because this is the type of situation that you need to look for that happens right before a mega dump. So what I'm saying right here, okay, this is April 21st, 2021. What I'm saying right here is that Bitcoin is in a very, very precarious position, and this is exactly the type of scenario that we see sometimes before one of those mega dumps. Okay, let's say we go below 50,000 within the next day or two. Let's say that happens. People are going to be like, well, what happened? What happened? All I'm saying right now in this video is this is exactly the type of setup that we see before that would happen. And keep in mind, we've already had a pretty decent dump from like $65,000 almost down to 50, bounce back up to 56, 57. But now 3 days in a row getting rejected at the 50 daily moving average. That is not bullish. Okay, let's just get that out of the way. That is not bullish, okay, in the short term. Overall, I still think Bitcoin's going to 6 digits. I feel like I have to keep repeating that so people don't watch like 1 minute of the video and think, oh, he's mega bearish, he hates Bitcoin. Okay, I said this in yesterday's video. If Bitcoin does not hit 6 digits in 2021, I'm going to eat an entire egg with the shell, and I'm going to drink some expired milk, like when it's yellow or whatever and it smells really bad. Absolutely disgusting. So yeah, I am betting my belly on it that Bitcoin will reach 6 digits by 2021, or I'm going to have to eat some pretty gross dairy products. But as well, guys, okay, this is not bullish. This is not bullish. And again, I'm saying this because what I'm seeing on this chart right now, people always say, well, if you're going to say it's going to pump for half the episode and then it's going to dump for half the episode, then it's easy to never be wrong. Guys, have I once in this entire video said that Bitcoin was about to pump a lot? No, I've been only talking about dumping. And the next topic that I'm about to jump into is another reason why I think it's more likely that we could be dumping over the next few weeks. So, but as well, I mean, look at this bearish divergence. We've had 3 highs. We had an all-time high, and then an all-time high. This was the first, and you see on this RSI, every single one was lower and lower as the highs were higher and higher, and that's just bearish divergence. Very, very clearly. It's on the daily chart. It's also on the weekly chart. I mean, take a look at this. We had this high back in January, very beginning. Look at this. This was the highest the RSI was of this bull cycle so far, right around like 94, 95-ish. And then the second was around 88, and that coincides with this top here of about a month later in the middle of February. And then just recently, we had this and the RSI yet again setting another low. So that looks like very obvious bearish divergence. We have like 10 weeks right here. So if we're looking at the technicals, and again, before we go any further, fundamentally, Bitcoin could not look better. So that's one thing. But even when things are fundamentally looking really good, sometimes it's still healthy to get a dump before we keep pumping, right? Even with the best news in the world, stocks never only go straight up. That's just not healthy, period. Even when an asset is amazing and all of the adoption looks right on track and everything is just looking very bullish fundamentally, doesn't mean that the price is only going to go up. You can still get dumps along the way. And again, that's healthy. But as far as the technicals are screaming pullback. So those are the two opposite sides of the story. We have fundamentals screaming, keep pumping, but then we have technicals screaming, we are insanely overdue for a pullback. Again, that's just my opinion, but that's how I'm interpreting these charts, is that it looks like we're very, very much ready for a pullback. We have this, wow, look at this. Got the MACD actually looking for a big cross right there. The RSI, I mean, again, it's just obvious what the RSI is doing. So couple that with the fact that Bitcoin is unable to break above the 50 daily moving average, not even the 21 day, the 50 day. And again, the next target I really think we have to look for is going to be that 21 week moving average. And that's about $12,000 lower than we are as I record this video. Could that be enough for a pullback? I personally think that is going to be where the pullback is, down to about like anywhere between like 39,000 to 43,000. I'm just going to give a little wiggle room there. But overall, I think that's a very good pullback area here. And I ultimately don't think it'll take Bitcoin very long to break new all-time highs if that scenario does actually happen. But I mean, just looking at these charts, looking at the momentum kind of weaken and weaken, look at Bitcoin failing to get above certain, I mean, even on the 4-hour chart here, even on the hourly chart. I mean, look at this too. Actually, this is on the daily chart. Let's look on the hourly chart. I mean, on the hourly chart, Bitcoin's not looking very strong either. It's below its 21 and 50 hourly moving averages also. So just the way I'm interpreting this is that this doesn't look like Bitcoin's about to break out to 65,000, 70,000 plus. I don't see that on the charts. Could you make the case fundamentally? Absolutely. I mean, Bitcoin is amazing right now. Everything's going well for it. We just had Venmo news yesterday, which is absolutely huge. So fundamentally, everything's really good. And I'm still keeping like most of my money in Bitcoin and Ethereum. I'm not dumping my entire portfolio in anticipation of a crash or anything, because I think this will be very short-lived anyway. And I'm just really not interested in trying to time something like that, because at the end of the day, I just feel much safer having my net worth or most of my assets in Bitcoin, period, anyway, especially during a bull market. So even though I'm saying I think there's probably going to be a short-term dippage here, what am I doing in this scenario? Not panicking. And honestly, I'm going to sit this one out and not even try to time this, because I mean, sometimes not trading and not doing all that kind of stuff is the best strategy. Realistically, this is just a little too iffy for me right now. So again, that's just my opinion. But then as well, we have PRQ, a coin that I've been talking about for months now, again on this channel. This is absolutely awesome. We saw this 3-month historical resistance right around $1.70, and it was so difficult for PRQ to get above. Now look at this. We ended up breaking above it, went to $2.70, so an entire dollar above that. And now look at this. We are trying to hold here exactly this level of support that was previous resistance. So I expect a major blast off if PRQ can hold this level and if it can break back above the 21 daily. So if it breaks $2 again, I think PRQ is going to go on a massive rally. So basically what I'm saying there is, massive back test going on right now. Break here. It was underneath it for 3 months. Here's the back test. If we can just hold this, and then as soon as we break this 21 day around $2, that is when I think a mega blast off is coming. And I think we're going to set new all-time highs for PRQ. So that's something to watch for PRQ. Other than that, the entire altcoin market cap is still just holding on its 21 day. Not anything super interesting. Not a lot going on with a lot of these top alts. Uniswap is up again like 10% today. But if we just go to the 24-hour changes for a lot of these coins, yeah, nothing too crazy going on. And the DXY is kind of just also stagnating today. Probably going to have a really wild end of the week here on Friday when the DXY and some of these other stocks and everything close. But as for right now, yeah, that's just what I'm seeing with Bitcoin. If anything changes, if Bitcoin does get a massive pump and breaks back above the 21 day, then again, we can change our tune. But as long as Bitcoin keeps getting rejected here, I think this is one of those scenarios where you need to watch for some sort of flash dumpage here. But the key is really reclaiming 57,000 US dollars. Okay, if Bitcoin reclaims 57, then we have a flash crash avoided. But that's really the big test. So if you guys are new to the channel, make sure to hit that like, subscribe, turn on those ghost notifications. And as well, if you're interested, make sure to join our competition, guys. As well, we have so many other bonuses you can get in our comments. Even if you need a ledger to store your hardware wallets or something like that. There's a bunch of exchanges you can sign up to if you want to get some of your favorite altcoins. There's some deposit bonuses, all of that, so make sure to check that out. But overall, this is one of those scenarios. Really just be on your toes. This is when big moves can happen right now, okay? The past 3 days have been really boring, as the chart showed. But yeah, you just got to be careful because anything can happen at any moment. Ew, that's it for me. Bye-bye.